Yesterday and actually the entire weekend was a rough weekend, and everybody out there has their right to feel a certain way about it, and we're going to get into how I felt about it and about what happened here tonight. Welcome back to the Phightins Phinal here on the Edge of Philly Sports with your boy Matty B, and once again being joined by Mr. Big Al. Al, what's up, man?
What up, Matty B?
Nothing much, Al. If you just indulge me for a couple seconds, I gotta hop up on a soapbox because I got a bee in my bonnet that I need to exercise. So
do it.
If you allow, okay. So I understand the frustration of what went down this weekend. It was an opportunity the Phillies squandered. It was 4 games of just frustration, and then it was culminated yesterday in a great baseball game. But obviously in an outcome that we, you can question it up and down about right decisions being made. Then you factor in the fact that there's like half of Citizen Bank Park this weekend was covered in friggin' blue and orange.
Nauseating.
It really was. I was there Saturday night. I was there Sunday. I was awash in a sea of blue. It really was pathetic, actually. Pathetic. Anyway. But to sit here and tell me, or to tell the knowledgeable Philadelphia sports listening public, Sully Squad, that
we're calling out people here
with 6 weeks left in the season is a ridiculous notion to think that we still have an opportunity to win this division. Shame on you, Joe Sullivan. Shame on you for sitting here and telling us that, because it's wrong. That's not what we're about here in Philadelphia. Do I need to remind you about 2007? Do I need you to remind you about being down 7 games with 17 games left to play, and they did it then? Listen, keep the faith. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong. Keep the faith, but don't tell me out of one side of your mouth that the Phillies ain't going to win the division, and then out of the other side that Howie Roseman's some friggin' genius when the Eagles haven't done squat nothing.
Howie Roseman's brought into the conversation, huh? Is that what happened?
Anyway, I'm gonna hop off my soapbox. Joe, you know I love you, but stay out of my keep your hands out of my pockets, man. That's all I'm basically trying to say. All right, Al.
It's a long run. You're not wrong to be to feel confident in this team still. It's also not wrong for them to think that it's a I wouldn't say pipe dream, but to think that it's a very long shot, and it is a long shot. Even 2007 was a long shot. And I think when you get beat by one of the best teams in the league, you tend to feel these certain kind of ways, and especially it being a rival, just like we've talked about in the past. If it was the Cowboys, they beat up on us twice this last year. Count the last game. You just feel certain ways about teams, and they make you feel these ways. And I get it. I get the emotional roller coaster that that people are feeling right now with this team, and that's baseball. 162 games, it's all it can be, is an emotional roller coaster. But here's my theory, and I have a theory of the Phillies and the Mets this year. Okay, they took what? They took 14 of the 19 that we played against them, right? Listen, on paper, they're a better team. Let's just call it for what it is. They are a better team than the Phillies on paper. But as we know from 2010 and 11, that the best team during the season can easily get shelled and knocked out of the first round. It's very possible. Happens all the time. But I think it's more of a head game. Watching these games, these 4 games over this weekend, I watched every one intently, thoroughly. Eye on every pitch, grip of the ball, swing of the bat, the mantra they had coming up to bat, everything. And the one thing I can tell you is, I feel, and I'm not a psychologist in any which way, I feel that the Mets are in the Phillies' head, and you use that old term. They're living rent free in the brains of the Phillies, and not to be cliche, but I'm going to be cliche. I think that's exactly what's going on. You saw the emergency swings. You saw some of these young guys come up to bat and just kind of gulping before they take a swing and hoping I'll get walked or hit before I have to, I don't want to get struck out. Like, that's all they thought about. And the Mets have had their number all year long, especially in the beginning of the year. That should have been 7-1 victory in April or May or whatever day May it was, I think still lingers. And I think when the Phillies right now are playing the Mets, they press. They press and they work and they overthink things. They're not loose like they are tonight when you see them playing a team like the Reds. Okay, they're not loose like they were playing the Pirates, which they're playing next time. They're not loose even like when they're playing the Braves. They don't have that same gulp when I have to come up to bat or every pitch I throw. I mean, you saw it up and down. So if I was seeing this consistently like I saw in April and May and a little bit early, into June. From this team, I'd be worried. It's the Mets. The Mets have our number this year. There's sometimes a team has your number, okay? But overall, all other 500 teams outside, we have over 500 teams. We have the better record against them.
Yeah.
So, will the World Series run through Queens? Most likely. So we might have to go there, and we might have to get over this psychological block we have against them, or have with them. But I think they could beat this team. I think, maybe just being the optimistic Philly fan that I am right now, because I can change it any blink of an eye, as we know. But being optimistic, I don't think they're that much better as they look against us. I think they just go into. They are so comfortable when they come to play us, home or away, and we are so uncomfortable playing them home or away. We all sit there. We've been talking about this before this weekend. This is a big series, real big series, a telltale series, biggest series of the whole year by far, probably, right? Playoff like atmosphere.
Yeah.
Well, they got the better of us, but hopefully, if the time does come in the postseason, we don't have this problem.
Yeah, no, and I was on the show last night defending basically. I was being attacked from all angles from New York Met fans and Pat Bernard. I don't know where the hell that's coming from, but
talk about flicking a switch. The gobbler is an emotional. I'll be honest. I was at the game like you said. I was at the game yesterday, and that was an emotional game. I mean, up and down. They lost the lead 3 times. You had a young pitcher on the mound in the beginning who got shelled for the first inning or two, but after that, it was he was pretty stable. And I handed to Robertson because he wanted it, but it's also the manager has to say, dude, you just went 2 innings in a row yesterday. You're 34 years old. It's a little different. So I mean. And I'm not blaming Rob Thompson. I do blame him. Like I'm not ready to get rid of him or anything, or not sign him on as our next manager or anything. But that whatever his name was, Sear, whatever Tyler Sear, like whatever that call was, I felt like that was like, all right, we're done. This game's over.
By the way, it was sent back to Lehigh Valley today. So
yeah, like he didn't even last. Like I mean, you had Coonrod in, and think about it, if Diaz would have had a blown save. There'd have been 2 blown saves on both sides. There'd have been three changes in the lead for both sides. So my point is, it happens. It does. I don't agree with that move, and I think the Phillies squad. I was listening to them today, and one of the guys, I think it was Diego, said, I don't blame him. I see what he said. He took it was a gamble, and that's what it was. He rolled the dice, hoping maybe this new guy will come in and a guy you haven't seen before, he'll be able to do it. I don't think that plays out with when you're in a playoff like atmosphere, trying to keep a game within reach with one of the better closers coming into the game next. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a manager of a Major League Baseball team.
Now, Al, before we move on to the Reds, because that's obviously what we're here to talk about tonight, we just I want to close a couple more gaps or loops with this series. Overall, Al, some of the optics of this weekend did not play out favorably for the Phillies. PR decision to have a Mets fan throw out the first pitch on Friday.
That's something you should be mad at. That's something right there that should, dude. I don't know. I was pacing. I didn't even put anything in the chat. Like the next morning, I woke up like I didn't even say anything to anybody. I was so mad. Like I was so mad about that situation. I was so upset about that situation. It's the day before Jim Gardner, longtime news broadcaster, comes in and throws the first pitch. And you have a Mets fan. I don't care if he bought every goddamn ticket in the house. You tell him to take that shit off. It is that simple. It was a stupid move. The Phillies organization needs to get their own heads out of their ass, and I'm talking about the administration behind the scenes, the sales team, the promotional team. Those guys, they need to get their heads out of their ass. They've had a lot of blunders lately, and they're continuing to have blunders. And that was by far the Pete Rose thing. Nothing compared to this. Nothing. That was like you're trying to bring a guy back who was a big name here at one time, lead us to a victory, even though his past is questionable at best. I'm not going to trust me. I'm not a Pete Rose fan, especially after hearing all that noise. But this guy, I don't care how many seats he bought. And I heard that somewhere. I don't know what I was listening to, but somebody said that there's a thing in there saying they can tell you, you know what, we're taking this away from you.
Yeah.
We're just going to take this away from you. You're not going to be able to have it. Sorry, guys, move on with life. Like that's how I look at it, and I don't understand why it's not looked at that normally. It is dumbfounding. Linda's here. Linda, my girl, my love. I agree. Stupid isn't a harsh enough word. Like, I don't think somebody should be fired for it, but I think somebody should get they should bring them up in a news. Like, they should have a news. What do you call it? Like a conference, and say, hey, listen, this is Joe. Meet Joe. He's the moron who allowed this guy to go out in the field wearing the Mets fan. Boo Joe, guys. Now, Joe, go back to work and don't let it happen again or you're fired. Like, that's what should happen. Like, there needs to be something like this out of touch notion that this Phillies organization have. It's nerve wracking. When this, you're going to tell me the biggest. Could you imagine? We said this is a playoff like atmosphere. Could you imagine during the playoffs if this happened?
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine? And I said to anybody, and kudos to those Mets fans who got away with it, because if this was vice versa, we went to the Mets. We all year long we're dominating the Mets, and say you, me, and a bunch of 500 people went and bought tickets, spent all this money, got you to go out there in your Chase Utley jersey to throw ceremonial first pitch out. Dude, you'd be lauded by the entire city. We'd be like going, oh, he's a god. Matty B would be the most famous man in town for at least a week, right?
I agree.
So kudos to them for pulling up. But goddamn you morons who allowed this guy. I'd be like, dude, you can go out there, take the jersey, the hat, whatever. The general. Hey, general, give me that so I can wipe my ass with it. That's what I would have said.
Also, the other PR move, and I know it's not really a PR move, but again, as I said, I was at the game Saturday night. You went to the game on Sunday. I'm telling you, Al, I was sitting upstairs. I mean, I was way up there. I was sitting mainly with Mets fans, and I looked around throughout the course of the game. It was a very boring game Saturday night, and I saw a lot of blue,
Mm-hmm.
More blue than I would really think I would see in an atmosphere like that. Now, how was it for you on Sunday? Was it the same type of situation?
There was a section behind the visitors' dugout, the Mets dugout, that was a lot of blue. So when you heard cheering, and you probably saw it on TV a lot, that was them. That was a major. I mean, they were still. Don't get me wrong. They were scattered throughout the stadium. There was one major section right behind the Mets dugout that was mostly Mets fans, and there was one. I hope he's listening. I know he's probably not. Jagoff, and I'm going to use that term. Who I lit into him and listen, man. Peacock, man, all you want. When you're winning, strut, push your chest out, bang your drum, whatever you want to do. I get it. And I'm gonna sit there and have to eat my lumps. But this guy was a scumbag. And he goes around and there's young kids around and he's grabbing his crotch. Okay. And I'm like, God, come on, man. There's kids. If it's me and you at a bar and you want to be a JO, be a JO. But you got little kids around. I was on them. Like they actually escorted him out because they thought I was gonna rip into him. I was pissed. As you can see.
So I didn't have quite that much of a problem with them. But yeah, my point is, I've never seen that kind of an invasion before. And, as a Philadelphia fan base, we should be ashamed of ourselves to allow one of our facilities to be overtaken by a rival's fan base. I mean, we like the Dallas Cowboys overtaking the Link. Can you imagine that? I mean, there would be an all-out riot over there if that would happen. Why can't we do that at CBP? But I
It's a
understand.
little different. It's a little different. Here's my thing: is two things. A lot less games in football, so it's a lot easier to keep them out. Just true facts. Number two is no matter how bad the Eagles are, that stadium is full. But when the Phillies, when the Flyers, even the Sixers are
Yeah,
not good, stadium is not full. I mean, we went, remember what tanking went with the Sixers. People only went to ticket to games to see like LeBron James play or Kevin Durant play or any other big names out there. That's who they want to see play. They wanted to see the superstars. They wanted to see the Sixers. They knew the Sixers were going to lose. They
yeah,
weren't going anywhere. They didn't care. And it's the Phillies have. We have to understand that the Phillies are finally like this team was. We were deciding we were going to be buyers or sellers until Rob Thompson took over. We thought this team was destined for just a really long season with all the money they spent, the big moves they made, Joe Girardi's haplessness as a general manager, just different things occurred, and so yeah, maybe they're not sold out, but 4 game. That's how I look at it. It's a little different, but yeah, you would hope it'd be a little better.
all right. So I don't have the patience right now for this individual. So Pat, welcome aboard.
What's up,
We'll get
buddy?
into you here. I'll get to you in a second here, but we're finishing up a point about the Mets weekend series. Al, so moving forward here, the Mets did lose tonight against the Yankees, so we're 11 games out. We won obviously 4-1 over the Reds. I'm still holding on to the notion that we can win this division, and I still think we have a shot. We have 7 games remaining head to head with the Braves. 7. We have another opportunity coming up down the road. Now the Braves are 3.5 behind the Mets, so there's potential that we're not necessarily going to be facing the Mets for first place, and it may be the Braves. But to me, the bottom line is August 24th. You just can't tell me it's over when you're 11 games out. I'm not believing that.
Listen, if you're mathematically not out, you're not out. It just is what it is. And like you said, I remember 2007 vividly as well, and being much more games out of first place than they are now. But I also understand anybody's feelings that this is a long shot. And I mean, if you're a bet, Matty B, I love you to death, but say this. Let me ask you this question: if you had your life savings, your entire nest egg was on the line, are you choosing that? I mean, is it easier to say when there's no, you gotta go, okay, guess I was wrong. Versus like, all right, I'm gonna lose my entire life savings.
There's being a fan and there's being real here.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and listen, once again, there's nothing. I agree with you. I still think there's a possibility. I don't think it's like, I would say it's more a little less than 50-50, but it's not a 5% chance in hell, snowball's chance in hell type situation.
No, I agree. And Gobbler, welcome. I'm sorry to kind of not get you in here till now, but real quick, I want to get your feelings about what happened over the weekend. Then we'll transition to tonight's game against the Reds. So hit me up, Gobbler. Now, yesterday, Pat, I saw you on your show wearing Mets colors. I'm getting confused about what's going on here. Then I hear stories of you playing with an apple earlier in the season, jumping in the studio, Big Mike's talking crap. Gobbler, what's up, man? Talk to me here, man. Get me off this ledge.
Oh, I can't. I mean, for first of all, like that's why I had to bring it into the Sandlot. You know what I mean? That's why we were talking Sandlot. It's trying to motivate us into some happier thoughts because with this Mets team, and I just don't like to say this, and I hate to admit this, they're all around better than us. And what we've done in June and July, they brought us back to April baseball. How we played. This is Girardi baseball over the weekend. They schooled us in every category. Our 2 best pitchers came up short. Brad Falter was the only one that actually did anything. That's pretty pathetic. And you had, if you're Alec Baldwin, you had 2, not 1, but 2 twice in a game. You had triple home runs. That should seal the deal right there. And we didn't. Again, as much as the Mets were trying to lose, we're like, nah, you guys take it. You guys take it. I mean, it was a bad weekend for us. I mean, you only won one game, one out of four, 1 out of 4. It's not good. It's not good at all. And like I said, look, if this team gets into the wild card, I'm happy with that. It's been 11 years since we had postseason baseball, and I'll be thrilled to have baseball. But look, it is what it is. We are a wild card team, and granted, we should be happy just to make it to the wild card from the past years.
Okay, I mean, I can
And,
buy
and
that.
also don't forget the Mets did lose tonight to the Yankees, who have been struggling.
They did. All right, gentlemen, let's put the past to bed. Let's get into tonight. An opportunity to kind of bounce back was definitely here. The Reds are in town for 4. Oh, and Sean chimes in, which says, "What's up, guys? Noah Syndergaard's line: 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, and a strikeout, 1 home run, 89 pitches." God damn, Sean. Second consecutive start 70. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into Noah real quick. I was not overly impressed with Noah Syndergaard, but he was very effective, and that's exactly what we brought him here to be. Very effective. I could have definitely seen or used that on Sunday, yesterday, but we've already kind of, me and you talked that in nauseam. Al, I still don't know why he didn't pitch against the Mets, but I will start with the Gobbler here. What was your impression tonight of Syndergaard?
Only 1K, but I mean, he did his job on the mound tonight. I mean, you took care of a bottom feeder team, so I mean, I'm fine with what he did tonight. It could have been a lot worse, but yeah, I'm okay with Syndergaard tonight on the
And
hill.
I'm not worried about the 1K either. I mean, 1K does, it's one of those things I don't get caught up in. I'd rather see a guy get groundouts.
Yeah.
I'd rather see a game that's how you go farther into the game. I mean, rarely. I mean, Nola did it not too long ago, but rarely do you have a guy who goes that deep into a game and has 8, 9, 10 strikeouts, because that means more pitches are thrown. I mean, he got the guy out in the first pitch. That's what you want to do. You're going to have 10 pitch innings that way versus strikeouts a lot. I don't care how you got it done. Jamie Moyer made a career off of not throwing heat and striking people out. So
True.
that's in my eye, that's more of a mental game, or being mentally stable as a pitcher, than a guy who can just throw heat. We've seen guys. I mean, Alvarado's done it years. He's just recently been much better at it. You can throw all the heat you want, but if you've got no control over it, or you're not smart about it, it's dangerous. I mean, Chapman, that guy, remember when the Phillies would go up against Chapman? They would pound him, and he was throwing 101, 102 at times.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Now, on the other side of that, the Phillies as a team struck out 12 more times tonight, Al, or gentlemen. That to me is more of a concerning stat than Syndergaard only getting 1 strikeout. I
will combat that a little bit with the Schwarber ones. 2 of them are questionable right there. That's a couple of those strikeouts were a little touchy. I would say at least 3 to 4 of them could be questionable, and not just 2 of the Schwarber ones at least. 1 or 2 of the Reese, and 1 of Gene Segura's. So it wasn't the best called game. Let's put it that way. But I'm not making excuses. That's just where I'm going with it.
It wasn't. And the other important lines of the night that I like to look at is runners left on base and runners left in scoring position with 2 outs. And the Phillies did an adequate job tonight. They only left 2 in scoring position with 2 outs, and they left 6 on base tonight, which is okay. I mean, listen, the Reds are a bottom feeder team, and we've mentioned that. And Joey Votto now is out; he's not playing anymore. So
they're even more bottom feeding now.
Yeah, I mean, he was the only offensive really that they had. Were you concerned that this game was a game? 4-1, even though 4-1 seemed a lot more than it really was, because I don't think the Reds got that kind of power to come back from a 3-run deficit. But were you concerned it wasn't 9-1 or 10-1 Phillies? I mean,
not in baseball. Not in any sport, to be honest with you. I mean, how many times, his team's taking it easy against teams that are not that good in front of them, and not, and sometimes even lost to them just because we didn't take them seriously. I mean, it was a rain delay game. The wind was blowing, so there's a couple balls that might have been out of there, and it could have became home runs that we saw tonight. So no, listen, man, that's sports in general. That's why if betting was that easy, I mean, if baseball worked out or any sport worked out that way, we'd all be millionaires betting, because you're a bottom feeding team against a good power team at home. Well, it's easy. Bet the over.
Yeah, right. To the point of, Look at Kyle Schwarber and Reese Hoskins, your two power bats, and they both went overs tonight. So you're really the guys who play small ball for you majority of the year were actually your power bats tonight.
Oh man,
You
and
know,
Stott killed that one. I
oh
mean,
man.
I put up a post. I wasn't kidding. Like I watched. I'm like watching it. I'm like, gee, like I almost like felt bad for the ball for a
Mhm.
second. I posted on our EOP social media, including our new TikTok. I said somebody call that ball's next to kin because he murdered it. I mean, like it was destroyed. It was what 399. I mean, even though
Yeah.
funny thing is Nick Castellanos' home run was further, it was just you expect it from him. He's a power hitter. That's what Stott came up and it was just a beautiful swing. It was even actually was really inside. That was like a golf swing.
Yeah.
That would have been called a ball if he just stood there.
It would have.
So he destroyed it, and that. And this is the thing. This is what this team needs. Like you don't have to always worry about Schwarber coming up, and Schwarber hasn't hit money home runs yet recently, but I mean, been hitting like death by a thousand cuts goes as far as just putting on a batting clinic, and that's what I was trying to like yesterday. I'm like yelling. I'm like, guys, just hit the goddamn ball. I'm like screaming. I'm like, just hit the ball. Don't worry about it. Like you can see guys are going up, especially after that first inning when they go back. They were just destroying the ball. I'm like, this is what they're gonna do, and they're all gonna come out swinging for the fences. Stop. Like they all get excited, like kids in the playground. Like, oh, this guy's letting up home runs. Let's just start swinging at it. No, just go in there and just keep making contact with that ball. We will destroy them at that point.
Yeah, and with the win tonight, the Phillies go to 67 and 55. And real quick, let's take a look at some of the offensive performances. As you mentioned, Kyle Schwarber and Nick Kessler, Reese Hoskins both 0 for 4 tonight. Alec Bohm. Listen, guys, there was nobody out here that wanted to see this guy fail more than I did when the season began. I thought it was a mistake to bring him back after the season he had last year. I'm walking it all back, man. Alec Bohm is your Phillies MVP right now. If we had a cast a vote for the team MVP, right now it's Alec Bohm.
He's our most consistent offense all year long.
Another 3 for 4 night tonight for Alec. Just again using all fields. He was 3 for 4. Where's the no? I just had it. 3 for 4. Just and he scored a run. Basically the highlight on the red side was Austin Rome. He was 1 for 3. He hit that home run. Syndergaard will get the win. Bellotti gets credit with the save. Sessa gets the loss. He only lasted 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. They were earned. Struck out 3, and he walked 1. And there you have it. Phillies win 4-1. And Joseph chimes in with his key for the Phillies is just to get in the playoffs. Wildcard teams have won the World Series in the past, but let's just get there. You know what, Joseph? I agree, but I guess maybe I can kind of give you guys where my mind is real quick by giving a football analogy. If this was the NL or NFC East and it was the Cowboys and we had the wild card kind of sewn up, but we had the division in our grasp, or we had the division there, I would definitely want to make a run to dethrone the Dallas Cowboys just because it's the damn Dallas Cowboys. And that's how I feel about the New York Mets. I hate the Mets. I hate them. Did I mention I hate them? I can't stand them. I just want them dethroned.
But let me ask you this question at the same time is, if you're in a battle and the Cowboys are kind of owning you for that season, but you still make the playoffs, and like take last season, that first game against them, we were that team the Eagles had no identity whatsoever, got shellacked the first time we met the Cowboys. Then the last game, whatever, it was third and fourth stringers playing, still lost, whatever you want to call it. Now we didn't see them in the playoffs, we didn't lose to them, but they didn't make it any further than us. They made some bonehead mistakes that cost them. We just weren't ready to go up against the GOAT and the rest of them. But I mean, it's what happens then. And I'm going with what Joe's saying. Joe Kane here, dude. I'm going with you. It's a chip in a chair mentality. I'm a guy who likes to play poker. If you have it, you can still have action. You can still play. And that's it. Like, yeah, I mean, we keep going back. Look at the Nationals. Look where they were just a few years ago. Look at the Braves last year. I mean, teams get hot at the right time, and that's it. You get Harper coming back. It takes him a couple weeks. I mean, he's going to be in AAA tomorrow. He's going to be playing. So, thanks, Sean. Yeah, he's going to Lehigh Valley. So he's going to be playing. Let's see, it's August 22nd. And I wish my son a happy birthday. It's his 20th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Junior.
Happy birthday, Kev. But my point is, this team, if say it takes into September, say 5th, You still have a whole month because I think our last game's like October 5th. You have a whole month for him to get himself together and get this team hot. Keep them rolling. And you don't tell me a guy like Bryce Harper's is going to like rejuvenate any team, anything this team has. Not that they need rejuvenating. It's going to be like the shock paddles in ER. It's just you're going to just go through the roof. And I think the team's going to bring it, even if he struggles a little bit in the beginning, because they're probably going to treat him just like they treated Gene Segura when he got back. He's not going to play every game he plays. He's going to be in the DH. We know that, so he's not going to be out in the field. He's going to play, 2 games on, 1 game off, 3 games on, 1 game. They're going to play that game with him, get him back, because where that injury is, it takes a little time. But look at Gene Segura. He is not too undifferent than where he was before he went out. So we know we can do it. I mean, Gene Segura was almost the hero of the game yesterday. If it wasn't for a blown save, we saw it happen. It can happen.
My take is, and I want to piggyback off Matt though. And look, I think I can kind of grasp what Matt was saying. Like, and to you too, Al. Like, we've lost it to the Mets, and I'm convinced from what I saw this year that we could beat the Dodgers, we could beat the Brewers, we could beat anybody in the NL. But the one team that stands ahead of us, the one bully in the schoolyard, the one who's been, spitting in our faces this whole entire season. I don't want nobody else in the postseason but one team. To be the man, to beat, to want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And I want the Mets, straight up, woo, whether it's 3 out of 5, what doesn't matter. Where am I at? I just want, I want to face the Braves. I want to face Braves. I want to face the Mets with Bryce Harper in the lineup, our very best. Versus their very best, straight up in a series.
All right, I'm going to counter that thought. I agree with you. Would it be poetic justice? Would it be the best way that we meet the Mets in the playoffs and beat them and send them packing? Absolutely. Nobody would be more excited than this guy right here.
Yes.
I'd be going up to New York just spitting on him and throwing stuff at him on a Tuesday afternoon.
I would go to every game in that
series. Every game, home and away. I'd be taking off that week. Trust me, I wouldn't be doing anything else but going to Phillies and Mets games. But at the same time, you might not have that opportunity even to meet them. Yeah. They might get themselves knocked out round 1, and you have to go through a whole different route to get there. God only knows. But as long does it not better if you still make it further than them and, of course, win the World Series? I mean, yes. Would it be perfect in a perfect world and in a movie like where you set everything up to come up and the guy that's been shellacking you the entire game, season? We all think of Ricky Vaughn, the Wild thing, going up there. He was facing some dude from the Yankees and he killed him every time, but to make it to the playoffs, he got him. Yeah, who wouldn't want that movie type atmosphere? But I don't give a rat's ass. I want to win, and I want to just let them go, so we can just tell all those Mets fans, where you at now? I don't care if you win 162 games all year long. Guess what? If you don't do it in the playoffs, you don't mean jack.
Yeah, but and like I said, the counterpunch is they're always going to say, well, if you would have said you would have, I mean, that's you would have got that from your typical frauds around here. But like I said, like you said, Al, if you can make that magical Disney run where if you can go around, make the round of not facing them, and they get knocked out, and we could take care of business. I'm just worried about again, we've all assumed that they were going to fall apart in June. They didn't. Okay, they're going to fall apart in July. They didn't. August, whatever. I'm afraid that this team is actually a good baseball team, and we have to eat crow for realizing that.
No,
they are a good baseball. They're a good baseball team. No matter how much I scream, the Mets suck. They don't suck.
They're very good. But listen, also another thing that happened yesterday, which was something that was very interesting to see, is I think the Phillies have kind of figured out Edwin Diaz a little bit. The last 2 times they faced him, they really got to him. They take a little bit more of an aggressive at bat against him, and it was good to see that, and that's good to see going forward. And the way baseball is set up for the playoffs this year, I don't know if you guys understand how this is all kind of supposed to work out. So you got 6 teams going in, right? Mm-hmm. Seed 1 and 2, which would be the division champions with the 2 best records, they get a first-round bye. They automatically get into the LDS. Seed 3, 4, 5, and 6 will play each other in the wild card series. It's a 3-game set. Then they'll move on, obviously, reseed. The lowest seed plays the highest seed, and then boom, boom. So, obviously, the Mets are probably going to get into the second round just based on the fact that they won their division and have the second best or best record in the league.
And then
So there's a good chance,
so most
depending on
likely, if it ended today, would be the Dodgers and Mets would have a bye.
they have a first round bye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, as you mentioned, Al, and we agree to this. The road is probably going to go to Queens through Queens. So if the Phillies are going to get to the NLCS, it might be against the Mets, or they're going to have to. You know, it makes for a great storyline, great drama, and great baseball as we move forward in the season. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I can't wait to get to October. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun.
And if you want to still find silver linings in the situation, I mean, in some ways, in a minor mental way, you tell me that there's no way there's no if everything is to play out the rest of the season like it is now, and we make the standings kind of stay within the same realm, and the Mets have a bye. Let them have their bye. Let them let them get cocky. Let them just walk around like they've already won the World Series. Because guess what? Now we got to play. We're hardened now. And now those guys are going to come in going, well, we handle these guys like nothing all season long. Maybe we get the upper hand now. We have that dog, that fight. We'll find out. We'll lace up our sneakers then. We'll get ready to go round for round, ring the bell with them. But until then, the Mets aren't a problem to us anymore. We don't even have to look at them. The only way we look at them is in the standings at this point to see if we can get closer to them. If not, in Matty B's hopeful world, eclipse them.
11 games out.
Yeah. My point is, just and I think Dom Lewis said it earlier, face the team that's in front of you. Worry about the team that's in front of you. Don't look past the Reds. Because you said it earlier, Matt. Yeah. Cookie team, you're expecting fireworks every night. I'm not expecting fireworks. I'm expecting wins strung together. You got 4 here against the Reds, you got 3 against the Pirates, and then you got 3 more against the Diamondbacks. Correct? I think that's what I'm thinking.
You got 3 against San Francisco.
Okay, so before you even get to San Francisco, you're looking at 10 games, right? I want an 8-2 record.
Yeah.
I want an 8-2 record. And that's what, and we'd all be happy with 8-2. I mean, the Braves. We always seem to when we I'm looking at the scoreboard. I'm like, oh, the Braves already lost because of the rain delay. I'm like, great. So we know the Braves already lost. We got that 3-run home run. We're up 7-4. We're all excited. I'm like, okay. It's just every time it looks like, oh, the Braves lost, we end up losing. Like we're trying to gain a little ground on some because you got to gain ground. Because that would have been a coup. I mean, think about it. Not that you just gain ground on the Mets, you gain ground on the Braves. Which is that's a big Sunday. That's where this Sunday kicks you in the dinghy. Ooh. That's where that game is a loss in my eyes. But what I saw from a team is I could have seen a team come out flat tonight, flat because of a rain delay, flat because of a demoralizing weekend for an organization that allows the opposing team to throw their jersey on and throw the first pitch out. But they weren't flat. People were riding Nick and saying what a bust he was. Well, Nick is not a bust. He's been one of our biggest offensive weapons over the last 6 weeks or so.
Got the most hits on the team.
Yeah.
And
come on, man, give the man some credit.
He won't do it. He's got to bite his tongue. He's got to turn his cheek. But listen, to me here's another thing that we've always seen for the past few years. The NL West has been the strong point. For a change, it's now the NL East. The Braves now in the wild card standing. The Braves, the Mets having the 1 or 2nd best team in the NL, and then we're in there too. So I mean, it's the NL East is looking pretty strong now, and which I'm grateful for because now it looks like we're alone in the NL East. It's going to be a problem. The whole
NL East probably plays 3 teams in the playoffs. That's absolutely right.
And I think we all said this going into the season that the NL East is going to be the division, and we even thought the Marlins might even put up a bit of a fight a little bit more later into the season. We all kind of knew the Nationals were going to be the Nationals to begin with, and they held up their end of the bargain. But and like I said, we're beating these teams, man. Be excited, like I said, go back to what Dom said. Live in the moment. Be in the moment. Worry about the guy in front of you. That's all you can do now. The Mets are not a problem. We're done with them.
Oh no, right. We're done with them. But they are certainly living rent free in my head, and they probably will.
They are living rent free in everybody's head. Like I said, and I think they're living rent free in this team's head. I said it earlier in the show for those who are just joining us. They are a better team on paper. I am not going to disagree with this. Lindor, Pete Alonso, all those guys are good players, and they seem to hit well when they're
And
against
Marte.
the
Don't forget
Phillies.
Sterling Marte.
Oh,
Please.
Sterling Marte, he boils my blood. Trust me. And the funny thing is, I wanted him on the Phillies.
Yeah, I wanted to.
But my point is, they were not just they beat themselves as much as the Mets beat them. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, we didn't lose the Mets. We lost it for ourselves. But they were in our heads. They had the psychological upper hand, which is a huge upper hand before it all started. Okay, and then when Wheeler and Nola just didn't have the great games that we're used to seeing from them, I think that was also deflating. But I also think it's not their fault. I know a lot of people want to, get ready for. I know I'm looking at you, Pat, when I say this. They're looking for the whole Nola breakdown in September, late August, early September. But I think also at the same time is when you get no run support, and they get deflated, just like Alec Boehm swinging and missing up at the plate. So it happened. So they had the psychological advantage, and it showed.
Well, like I told you
Joseph
too,
Tranzino
Saturday.
gives us a boost and a chance to defeat the Mets, especially in his presence. Somehow move Schwarber out of leadoff position. Listen, a little note on Harper. I will be headed to the Valley on Wednesday to check out Bryce Harper and his
So you have a
rehab
report for us.
set against the Gwinnett Vipers or Strippers. I don't know what they're called, but they're the Braves AAA team. Relax, Albert.
Could you imagine you're like this AAA guy? You're like, oh, you're pitching tonight. Oh, and Bryce Harper's in the lineup.
The tickets are flying off the shelves. If you guys are trying to get up to the Valley this week, they're home all week starting tomorrow night, and I think he's going to be there till Saturday.
Oh, I love the Valley too. It's a great place. Like minor league baseball, like it's very like just. It annoys me how much it's not more loved. I mean, I wish they had teams that are a little closer. It's not easy to get up to Lehigh Valley and Reading and all that stuff from the Philadelphia, Delaware County, South Jersey area. But it is a great time, and if you have a family a large family like I do.
It's very cost effective.
It's very cost effective.
Yes, it's very cost effective.
Actually, somebody told me the Blue Rock Stadium, you can rent the whole place out for like $2,500.
Yep. I mean, you can get field level seats for $15. Field level.
Yeah. I was in like their super box at the Blue Rock Stadium like years ago, but it was like $750 a piece. Like it was like for like 10 people. Like I think I had like a group of 15 people, and I spent like under $200. It was ridiculous.
Get out there, get up to the Valley, check out Bryce Harper because they'll be coming back down to Philly real soon. Let's take a look around the major leagues, gentlemen, as we talked about the out-of-town scoreboard. Not much going on tonight, but there are a few teams in action. The Brewers are currently in LA, and they are beating the Dodgers 1-0, and they are heading to the fifth. As we mentioned, the Yankees took care of the Mets tonight 4-2. Braves did defeat the Pittsburgh Pirates 2-1. And the Cardinals defeated the Chicago Cubs 1-0. That was everybody who was in action tonight. So we did gain some ground, half a game over the Padres, which is always good. But once again, not really getting much help in the terms of other teams losing. The Mets lost, so now we're 11 out. So I can live with that, I guess, for tonight. It could be a lot worse. I guess so. As for the Phillies, we're going to turn this thing right around tomorrow night, 7:05 first pitch. Ranger Suarez 8-5, 3.31 will get the nod for the Phillies, and he'll go against Nick Lodolo, who takes his 3-4 and his 4.12 ERA, and coming off of his 1-0 shutout against the Phillies his last time out. So
Rangers like right now probably one of the hottest pitchers in the starting rotation. Not to say he's better than Wheeler and Nola, but he is cooking on all cylinders right now.
Now, I want to ask one more question to you guys before we head it out. Obviously, we're dealing with injuries have been a problem with this team, and they seem to be coming out in bunches right now. We obviously talked about Harper, Schwarber, Brandon Marsh is now down.
That's hurting.
It is. We lost Corey Knebel for the year earlier in the weekend, and then on Sunday they stuck Sir Anthony on the IL for 10 days. Thankfully, that tightness in the shoulder turned out to be nothing but no structural damage to his arm, so that's really good. Is this team, and I'll ask you, Gobbler, first, as we move forward into the stretch run, are you concerned about the injuries, about maybe injuries affecting this team, ability to win? Is this something that's starting to bother you or become a concern for you?
Not at all. Because from here on out, you're playing you guys said don't look, don't look past what's in front of you. But however, looking at these teams are pretty much bottom feeders from here on there out. So no, I think the bats are going to carry us over, and that's going to overlook the injuries on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as worried. I mean, the Sir Anthony thing. Listen, it's that time of year.
Yeah.
Things are cooling off a little bit in some ways. Guys have already played 100+ games. It's it's that time of year. People are going to get these soft tissue injuries. Okay, Sir Anthony, as this is his first season, like he's
Back to
played a
Tommy John.
long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, to get that, not crazy. Keep my eye on Alec Boehm. I know they pulled him out with a little bit of a quad soreness. I think it was all just to be careful. Like look at Schwarber. I mean, he's a guy who had a calf injury. It wasn't soft tissue. He's back. It's just you just gotta be able to balance these. And we saw on Sunday that the balance was a little off, but it did work. The bullpen is what scares me a little bit. Hopefully, Sir Anthony can come back as strong as he was because if we can have him, Hand, and Robertson at full strength, I feel a little bit more comfortable. Coonrod tonight showed me, gave me a little bit more hope in that aspect. But the wiggle room that's where I worry, if anything. If I'm going to worry about the injuries, it's the wiggle room if we compound anymore. We saw how Brandon Marsh not being on the field yesterday, that cost us a lot. That defense out there, Zimmer, I can't wait till we see him off the field. Sorry, no offense, buddy, but you're not knocking me out of my shoes anytime soon. So we saw him bobble. He cost a run. There was the threat from throwing somebody out from mid center field or something like that wasn't there. So yeah, it hurts us from a defensive standpoint there. But overall, I'm not 100% worried. It's just this happens this time of year.
When I came on the air last night, one of the first people to chime in was Sean, and he asked me if I was ready to re-engage the moniker of the blow pen. And I told him no, I'm not, because I think we've turned that corner. I don't think we're going back there. But as you mentioned, Al, that is where my concern lies heavily, is with these injuries to the relief staff. Obviously, the Dave Robertson trade is turning out to be a stroke of friggin' genius right now from Dombrowski.
And for what we got him for, too.
Really
I'm sorry.
is.
Maybe because he's 34 years old. That's why they got him for. But we're already paying him anyway. Might as well bring him back into play.
And yeah, but now you compound it with Sir Anthony getting hurt. That is definitely. I mean, our pitching staff has been, for the most part, a above average, consistent machine all season long, anywhere between 5 and 7 innings a game. We are entering, though, that time of the year where now that load is starting to take its toll a little bit. Nola, Wheeler, not as effective last couple times out, and obviously we already know about the Nola stuff, but I'll say that for another day. But when we're dealing with this, pitchers like Bellotti, pitchers like Nelson, pitchers like, and I'm going to even throw Bailey Falter into this because I think he's earned his opportunity to stay on this baseball team. He's back down in Lehigh. He got sent right back down after the game the other night, which I don't know, maybe for a roster spot.
It's roster spots. That's all. It's pretty much what it is. I think when September rolls around and the roster expands with the three more slots, I think he's right back up. He's your long guy. If you need to stretch out, especially towards the end of the season, a guy so you can line up at the end of the year your pitching lineups. He's going to become big. And I mean, I think he earned it. He went that's his longest career start anywhere. I think minors and majors. So
yeah, he pitched real well, and I was at that game. He pitched extremely well. Man, boring ass game. Golly, that was a boring game the other night. But
I think the Mets checked out of that game a little bit. I'm not saying they gave it to us, but they checked out of that game a little bit.
Castellanos made that play in the first inning, was turn that game completely around. The Phillies were about to get blown out in that inning, and he made that play, and that really was the table setter for that game. That really
nice defensive play again today. Yeah. That could have been a double off the wall.
Yeah,
he got right up against it. He's really been even flashing a little leather lately. I give him a little credit there.
Absolutely.
That game there, they could have tacked on so much more runs, and they left so many guys in scoring position on Saturday. I was just mind-boggling. I was terrible. But I have a question for the both of you guys. So say if they, we get into the postseason, it doesn't matter who we're playing against, and we have a series best out of three, and just say that Nolan and Wheeler come up short again. What do we do from here? We'll just say they both get thumped on the mound.
You gotta
Series is
deal with
over.
it.
It's 2 losses. It's done. There's
Yeah, I
nothing
mean-
to do.
No, but I mean, because their pass, I'm saying, is because their pass of them falling short around this time, around playoff time, they're not very successful, and then they come up short in wild cards. Is it will it be alarming to you to start thinking, well, maybe these guys can't show up for big games?
So let me take that first. I'm going to jump in this
Yeah.
first. I was listening to you guys talk about something similar to this the other day.
Mhm.
The struggles of 18, 19, 20, and 21, or the wilting of 18, 19, 20, and 21 are definitely on my mind. And they're on every Phillies fan.
Have to be.
That's just because it's been such a prominent thing. I honestly don't know. But if we get to the postseason, obviously we didn't wilt. We got there. So I think that's
Mhm.
going to take a lot of the pressure off that. I don't know. But as far as them getting in the postseason and pitching and not performing up to standard or whatever, what else are you going to do? Wheeler, you're stuck with Wheeler. Nola might be something you can wiggle yourself out of, but I don't know. You're gonna have to let it roll. I mean, Al, what do you think?
I
think,
mean, this season there's nothing you can do. You're
Yeah.
stuck with the team. You're not going to go find somebody who's better than Wheeler or Nola. I mean, you're not going to do that. So
I'm not going to start Suarez, Syndergaard, and friggin' Eflin
Right.
in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that either. So
yeah, I mean, you're this is who you got, bro. This is who you're
Yeah.
rolling with. Postseason, if they just kind of fall flat again. I mean, kind of like Matty B said. I mean, you still got over $40 million a year on the books with Wheeler. Nola is very team friendly. I mean, you could maybe move on from him. I'm sure somebody would take him in a heartbeat. You could probably get a decent haul for Nola right about now.
you would.
Mhm.
Even if he falters in the playoffs or late into the season. But this is what you got, and this is my thing is, we as Phillies fans worry about what ifs. What if they do this? What if they did this? What if? Let's keep looking forward, not put that out there in the universe, and just see if they can overcome it. Because so far, I mean, outside of this weekend, and I can blame the entire team this weekend. Not one
Mhm.
pitcher, not the pitching staff, not the bullpen, not the
entire
bats.
organization.
Oh yes. Oh my God.
The off the field stuff too.
If this was 1995, I'd be writing many letters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it's my point is, this is your team. These are your ride and die kind of guys. Okay, it's my offensive lineman thought process. These are the guys you're going to war with. You have no choice so you got to trust your man in the foxhole, and you got to run with them.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that. Do you guys agree that this team is in the best position out of any of the recent teams to actually succeed down the stretch and into the playoffs? And I mean, 18, 19, and 20 and 21. That this is the best team out of all those teams that has an opportunity to do this.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
No, they're not a complete team, but it's the best.
No. This is the best, and if they just don't make it that far or get a first round boot or make a little bit of a playoff run and don't make a World Series championship, there's a lot of big pieces you can look at and work with and have to fill in some spots. But as of right now, I mean, if you took this team for what it was and say they're done now, I mean, I'm not saying to answer this question, just think in your head hypothetically for another conversation. I mean, what do you change with this team? Like, who do you get rid of? Who do you keep? Like, you got guys coming off the books like Gene. You got to make a decision with him. Coming off the books. Like, you moving Stott over, you bringing in Trey Turner. Those are the kind of things that I think that. And listen, that's where you make your bolsters from. Then you got your leadoff guy locked in, and then think about it. Just with that move, just from your lineup, you got Trey. You got Trey Turner. You got Nick Castle. You got who's
I would
number
put
two?
out Bowman too.
I was going to say Bowman at 2,
Yeah.
Harper at 3, Nick
Schwarber 4.
Schwarber at 4, Nick 5, and then
JT 6.
JT at 6, which takes a lot of heat off him. Look at your 1 through 6 right there.
That's
Just
nasty.
that. I mean, Stott's getting better, so he's your 7.
Yes.
I mean, like, that's something to think about. Brandon Marsh is, listen, he's not an offensive weapon, but if he's your 8, you're a happy camper.
That's right.
So does that mean Reese Hoskins is not part of the 2023 Phillies? There,
We didn't even mention him. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
We don't
where's
know.
Reese gonna fit in? Um,
I don't think he comes in at all. I honestly, but
It's funny because my wife just pointed out that my head fits the O in the EOP just perfectly. I didn't even know. She just
good job.
like,
that's
thanks, honey.
more of that roasting show for the always
So-
coming up soon.
You know what's perfectly in EOP, and that is this lineup. Look at it all, folks. Tonight, you guys had the Sully Squad party on Broad, and then me, the Phightins final. Tomorrow, you got the Kelly Green Hour, the Birds of the Round Table. Jesus, talking Philly sports with me, Matty B. Talk, and then another Phightins final, and then the rest of the stuff that's coming up all weekend long. Remember, if you guys are having a great time and things do not go so well, or you wake up and all of a sudden you find a dead body laying next to you, well, this is the guy you need to call right away. That'd be Dave Cherry at 610-565-0300 for workman's comp, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. Tell them the boys at EOP sent you. So, yeah, listen, guys, I really appreciate you jumping on with me. Is there any other parting shots you guys want to give before we sign off for the night?
Yeah, one more. I don't know if it's on why it's not on here, but don't forget phillysportstrips.com.
I don't have the updated Philly Sports Trip slide. I've been asking you for it for months, and I don't have it.
I swore I put it in there, but we'll go with that. But I will find it for you and put it in there in a minute. But my point is, don't forget to find it because September 25th is the big trip coming up. I will be on there. I know a couple of the other guys are going to be on there. Matty B, I think you're a possibility, right?
Thank you. There it is. Yes. I'm a possibility. I'm still seeing. I have a very active life, and I'm trying to.
I know, but it is what it is. But there's a BOP buses going, the NEPA guys, Birds of the Bellman, 4th and John. All of us are getting together to make this 1,000-person trip down, and I believe we're about 750 there. So we only need about 250 more people. But look at that number, 325. You can't beat it. And the big thing, and my boy Joey Sheeran keeps pointing out, lower level tickets, and maybe a parking spot. You're looking at 325 anyway.
Absolutely. Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Easy. That's before you buy your first cheeseburger or hot dog, or you buy your first soda. I'm not even talking about a beer. You're looking, so they get all the drinks, all the food, the entertainment. And all these great names in Philly sports coverage I just mentioned.
And you won't have to worry about driving 95 north back home.
I forgot the bus. You don't even have that in the price. I would say that estimates, like if you're doing a la carte, somewhere around $500-$600 easily.
Oh yeah,
right.
Easy. Absolutely. Be on the lookout. And then also the other stuff that Philly Sports Trips has. They're going to all the Eagle Road games this year. They got stuff coming up for the Flyers. They have also, I saw something, they put out their spring training trip for next year already. So
they already put that out. And you might see some EOP crew guys on that one. So we'll get into that later.
Oh, what? Huh? We're going there? We're broadcasting from the Carpenter Complex? You got to take me. I mean, come on. No, to the Phightins final. I got to be there for that.
We'll see what we can swing.
What about you, Golliver? What you got? Anything?
Nothing much. I just want to go try out that gritty sandwich that Al keeps on mentioning at that.
What is the grit? I heard it's a scrapple cheesesteak thing.
Oh, would have rubbed my engine.
By the way, since you brought that up, I'm going to put that. So the place that created it is Wolf Superior Sandwiches in Aston, right here in Delco, and they work with Dolan's and have a kitchen in Dolan's where they bring their food from Aston to Ridley. But a little love out to Wolf's. Right now, they're going to be out of commission in their main office because they had like electrical issue, fire. Like their electrical box exploded or something. Don't exactly know what happened, but they're fixing it. They'll be back and stronger than ever, as Dan Wolf, the owner of Wolf Superior Sandwiches, told me. But yes, the gritty sandwich, guys. He makes an amazing cheesesteak, and he uses a white cheddar sauce. So I think almost like the Chicky and Pete sauce, but better. I mean, I'm not even just kidding, but better. For his normal cheesesteaks, he uses the Cooper Sharp cheese. That's what it comes from. And if you've never had a cheesesteak with Cooper Sharp, you have not lived yet. But he cooks up scrapple and he melts it all in. He cooks it in
Oh,
to the meat. So it's an amalgamation of the cheese, the meat, and the scrapple. And and he has like a spicy ketchup you can put onto it too.
Is it loaded? Is it fat?
Oh, you will be by the
It's
time you get done eating it. Somebody will be. But they're bringing other sandwiches like the Pickle Rick, which is also an amazing sandwich. If you like pickles, you will love this sandwich.
So I don't want to know you if you don't like scrapple. So I definitely got to.
Yeah, I broke up with a girl because she didn't like scrapple.
Really?
I'll tell
I do not like scrapple.
Who doesn't like bread style meats made from God knows what?
I found that it's got to be Dietz and Watson scrapple. I can't eat it. I can't eat anything else. Hatfield works too.
Hatfield too. What's the other one? The big one that came. Who invented scrapple? God, what the? Scrapple's a Delco thing, by the way. You didn't know that, did you?
Yeah, I knew that.
But right here in Middletown, Delaware, I always tell people that. I'm trying to remember who it was. There's one more, and I'm gonna probably get roasted by my boys on Delco Live for not remembering the name. But there is one more. But yes, Dietz and Watson and the other one you mentioned are two of my favorite. And also, I'm gonna actually get the chance to try wild boar scrapple.
Ooh.
My boys at our other sponsor over at Delco Live, it's called Fat Cow Jerky, which makes amazing beef jerky. Check it out, fatcowjerky.com. But he goes wild boar hunting, and he comes home, and he has so much meat from this one boar. He gave me, and I have in my freezer right now, Haversaut. Yes, Haversaut. Thank you, Linda. See, me and Linda have this connection. We love each other. She knows me so well. Don't tell my wife. And she said something nice. She couldn't believe I'm a 20-year-old. Yes. Linda, my wife's 8 years older than me, so that'll explain a little bit there. But the wild boar scrapple and wild boar pork roll he made, all I've been hearing is amazing things about it. So I'm going to be breaking that out this weekend. Maybe I'll make a homemade gritty.
Do you put scrapple on toast and eat it like that, like a sandwich, or do you just kind of incorporate it with the eggs and the potatoes? And how do you do it?
It depends how I'm feeling. My wife will tell you I'm a big sandwich guy. Like anything, breakfast or whatever, a breakfast burrito. But yeah, I will do it that way. Now, my question to you guys is, do you cut it into squares or do you cut it long way into rectangles?
No, I just take it from, I get the long way rectangle.
I used to be a square guy, but yeah, rectangle, I'm throwing it
the
down.
The only time I do squares is if I'm cooking a lot of breakfast stuff for people, like trying to break it up a little bit.
You put ketchup on it?
Yes.
I don't put ketchup on much. I'm not a big ketchup guy. Let me tell you right now, unless it's like a specialty ketchup like Wolf's uses, if you see me go to your cheesesteak place and grab the ketchup bottle, you got a shit cheesesteak. Just putting it out there. That means I'm trying to, because I think ketchup's one of those things that just take away. Like it's like, I had some ketchup and some bread and meat and cheese with it too.
You put ketchup on it, Pat?
Yeah, dude, I'm lathering it up in ketchup. I think it makes it taste even better. That's just me because I'm a weirdo. But like I said,
we'll go with that.
But yeah,
on that note,
I can throw down, man.
So listen, the gritty. Now is it like? So I'm just trying to kind of put it in my mind here. Is it?
Hold on, while you guys talk, I'm gonna try to see if I can pull it up for you. I think I have a picture of it.
Full size roll, right?
The regular cheesesteak roll, yeah.
Okay, and it's like, I mean, it's falling off the roll? Is it like
no? It's just imagine. You know when a sandwich is just perfect and everything's melted together as one glob of meat and cheese and everything. Like that's the best way of me explaining. I'm trying to see if I can pull up.
So perfect cheesesteak for me is I got to take like 7 bites to get 1 bite. You know what I mean? Because it's so big. I gotta be able. I can't. You know what I mean?
Oh, you don't go home hungry with Wolf. So I'll tell you that much. He packs his sandwiches tight, and he actually has another one where he does a cheesesteak on top of an Italian hoagie, which is pretty good. I think it's called like the Godfather. I don't know, something like that. But I'm gonna come on, gritty cheesesteak.
I'm telling you. We all have to get together in this way.
Pat's gonna be taking care of business later, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he got a lot. he does a lot of things. He has like the swine father or something like that, which is like all he puts like so much things on it. The pickle Rick, I tell you, like he like does like he's like a gourmet chef. Like he just does sandwiches. Like it's really funny how he does it. I'm just trying to find a good picture of it, and I'm not getting the best picture of where you can get the best idea. But what I'm going to do is this real quick because I know I'm kind of killing time by talking. Here is I can't say this is a gritty or not, but it's definitely one of his regular cheesesteaks. But see how that Cooper
Not
Sharp
working.
melted cheese
Yeah,
sauce
I
he
like
puts
it.
on there. So that imagine that cheesesteak. At least if it could be a gritty because it could be inside it. I don't. It's just hard to tell with the way the cheese is. And if you go to his Facebook page, I know he has them. He posts his sandwiches all the time on his Facebook page, and like I said, he knows what he's doing. It's like if you see the sandwich, you're like, all right, now I gotta go there. I gotta go there. Like I gotta have it.
Yeah, that looks good. That was really good.
Now,
But,
you like
Yeah,
your steaks hot, or do you like them a little on the cooler side when you?
say what? Like what?
Do
Like
you like them hot, like when you like you got or do you like them on the cooler side so you can kind of sit there and enjoy it? Not cold, but how do you like the steak temperature wise?
I like it hot. Like I
Like
don't mean
straight off the grill. You
I
like it
don't
like that?
yeah, I don't want to burn my mouth, but there is a plus to a cold cheesesteak in some ways when everything kind of congeals a little bit.
Yes.
So I will agree with you, but here I'm going to give you guys, and I'm going to send Wolf a bill for all this extra love I'm sending him. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Dan's a
because
good
I'll be
guy.
at that front door.
He's very so here's a couple ideas. He made this one. He calls this this one was made for Delco Day, and this is called the 6-1 hoagie, which is just amazing, as you can see, where it's fried and it's heated up. It's just delicious. Just giving you look at this thing just full of pork roll.
That pork roll?
Yeah,
Oh,
Pat. All I gotta say is, Pat, keep your hands above the keyboard,
Was
bro.
that a pork roll scene?
I
Was
was
that a
grab
pork
some
roll
other
scene?
meat.
Yeah, that's a pork roll. He makes like these Asian-based ones, man. I don't know what this is the Gilbert Godfrey.
There it is.
This
That
is
looks
this is
good.
this is called the Bret Hart because you're gonna have a bad heart when you get done eating it. But like
The bad heart.
everything's homemade. The sauces, everything he does is homemade. This is the Will Smith. This is chicken tikka masala, homemade pickles, red onions, Roman tomatoes, mayo, Cooper Sharp on garlic bread roll. Like he doesn't. This one was kind of made based on. This one's called the Squid Game, and it's Korean barbecue octopus.
I gotta
Believe it
try
or
that.
not,
Yeah, that
he's
sounds
got
good.
he's got good pizzas as well too. But there's just all different things. I could sit here all day and just cut through it for you. But
This is better watching
he does.
porn.
This is your porn. You get. Oh, by the way, the tacos. That's where it started. That's where it started. So Linda, they're in Aston, but you have to go to Dolan's and Ridley Park right now to get a lot of their stuff because of the electrical fire that they had. So he also has a lot of memes too. But he makes like he has his own pickles. Like he makes his own hot sauce. He knows what he's doing. And he has a Detroit style pizza, by the way. Freaking phenomenal.
Really?
All right. Now that I'm going to run out to Wawa. So,
Yeah, that's not going to do it for you, bro.
well, unfortunately, I can't drive down to Ridley Park.
Well, it's unfortunate they're closed anyway, so it's not. Well, actually, the kitchen's probably closed.
All right,
Yeah,
fellas. Tomorrow night, Ranger Suarez is going to get the bump. 7:05 at the bank. We got to keep this thing rolling. I want to thank you guys for coming on. It's always a pleasure to cut it up with you. Thank you, everybody out there, for participating. And before we go, I think I got everything taught. No, I don't. Harry the K, what you got?
Good show, boys.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, no, as he's like licking his lips right now.
That's really good. Is that stuff? I mean, seriously, that gritty. You've had it before, right?
Oh yeah,
Is it good?
absolutely, dude. I'm not kidding. You here? Let me pull these back. I want to show you something here.
We should have him cater the EOP Christmas party at the new studio.
Trust me, I will. I have no problem doing that. This is the oh, this is a different one. I thought this was the swine one. Dude, love this. So yeah, like I can show you, like
That's awesome.
house smoked fresh kielbasa, grilled green peppers, and caramelized onions, a homemade ghost pepper cheese sauce. Like it's not like just like, all right, you can get a regular or whatever. He has all that. Me and the guys created a sandwich, all the Delco Live guys, and we had like a contest you could sell more. So I created one with Captain Crunch fried chicken.
What?
Which, dude, I'm telling you right now, look up Captain Crunch chicken. It is the most like chicken cutlets, but like instead of using just breading, you crush up cornflakes and Captain Crunch and bread it with that. It's like that sweet and savory like thing. It's very good. But I made one with that. Like I said, he does everything. He does everything in house, which makes it good. Like that's why I love him to death. I'll be honest with you. In the beginning, I had some issues with him, just because like I think he just didn't have the right staff in place.